stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Trudging Thursdays. This is the way. This is the way. Those of you that don't see me on camera, I'm wearing a Mandalorian shirt. Man, Pascal's in like everything that I watch. Everything. Mandalorian. Watching Narcos right now. He's in that. Mandalorian. I watched Fantastic Four last night. Here's my review on the Fantastic Four, the new Fantastic Four movie. It didn't suck. All right. It wasn't bad. It was better than I thought it was going to be. So good job, director of the new Fantastic Four. I really enjoyed some of the cameos. I don't remember everybody's name. But they picked some great actors. They really did. They did a great job selecting actors for that one. So thank you, Mr. Pascal, for entertaining me like you do. Good morning, Angel, Amber, Leisure, Michelle. Good to see you all. I hope you're having a good day. Okay, I gotta let you know, I'm still kind of angry. Actually, I think I'm hurt. All right. See, when I go out of my way for a couple of years to help other people out and they do me dirty, it hurts. It hurts. Everybody goes through it, so I'm not going to sit here and whine about it. But I figure I get it off my chest. Right? There's this part of me that's just like, I want to fight, fight. Like it needs to find some kind of justice or something. I even kind of put a vehement post out yesterday about a place I don't like, and it kind of shone through, which is one of the reasons why I took it down, Angel. Not only that, but if we go after the Behavioral Health Administration, not go after them, but maybe sit down and have a conversation, then maybe we can have some change. All right. It's a better way to do it. It is. There's a part of me that wants to get in people's faces and stuff, but what about me? What about my sanity? What about my peace of mind? You know, the effect that we can have on other people is real. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Nah, that's not true. You ever been a man accused of being doing something sexual towards a minor or a woman? You ever been accused of that? It can ruin your entire reputation. All right. So if you plan on going after my reputation, I will push back. Okay. But that's how I was trying to make a good leeway into today's daily reflection. That's what we'll get to here. But I couldn't find. I'm working on it. I thought I had enough time. I thought I had enough time to download something, which was just a little soundtrack of people laughing. All right. So you know what time it is. It's time for a little bit of humor. We can get pretty serious about things, right? This is a serious business. So laughing is a good way to kind of lighten the mood a little bit, and kind of put us in a better mood. Laughter is one of those things where you can utilize it to fake it till you make it. All right. Go crack some jokes, make some funny things, So, all right. Anyway, so you know what time it is? It's time. I'll work on a much better segue there. All right. But it's time for Dion's Daily Funnies, even though they aren't Dion's jokes. All right. I used to be addicted to soap, but I'm clean now. That's a great one for us. You know what? Let's switch it up. Let's not do dad jokes today. Give me some jokes about recovery. There we go. We're going to do recovery jokes. Fuck it. I know a guy who's addicted to brake fluid, but he says he can stop anytime. There we go. Here's our stuff. My friend used to be addicted to drinking detergent, but he's clean now. Yeah, I saw that one coming up. I'm the designated driver. Someone's got to keep the evening crash free. My liver sent me a thank you card. It's on a much needed holiday. I'm training for a marathon. Can't outrun a hangover. Trust me. All right. So a little bit of humor. I have one, but some people get mad about it. Okay. It's just a joke because we're even going to read out of Al-Anon literature today. Have you ever seen the Al-Anon handshake? I'm waving my finger at the camera for those of you on Podbean. All right. All right. We've lightened the mood. We've brought a little bit of hope back into what we're doing. Not everything is as overwhelming as Dion decides to make it. Now, is it? Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. If you want the truth, if you want transparency, you're in the right place. All right. Am I always that way? No, I mess up often here. It happens all the time. And then we correct it. I don't feel bad about it. I don't need to feel guilty about it. I don't need to put shame on me about it, do I? No, I do not. But gosh, we're good at doing that to ourselves, aren't we? If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Today is about the kind of effect that we can have on other people. Right? Oh, I can't make them drink. I can't. Bullshit. You can drive somebody loopy. Let's figure out how. So we're going to do today's reading is going to be out of Courage to Change. And what this person is talking about is having to do a fit step because they live with an alcoholic. Oh my gosh, is that my sister Kathy? Welcome, everybody. Please welcome my sister from another mother. Kathy, it's good to see you, you little shit. Good to see you. Oh, what a good day. What a good day, man. Yeah. She has more sobriety than me. You got to be hitting 20 years now. You got to be hitting. But you know what's cool? We all got today. We all got today, and we're here together. So let's kind of read what kind of effect we have on other people. Because I read this, and man, it made me feel kind of bad. All right. Step 5 says, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Is it embarrassing moments? The words spoken in anger, the dishonesty. 23. See, yeah, you should never trust me with numbers. Ever. All right. I love you, sister. Let's sit down and talk. If you got time. So, all right. Admit God to ourselves, to another human being, the exact nature of our wrongs. But what is the exact nature of my wrongs? Is it the embarrassing moments, the words spoken in anger, the dishonesty? Maybe it's all of it, right? See, living with an alcoholic is bound to make anybody neurotic. And this is where the dysfunctional family comes in. And yeah, there's a whole thing about the family when it comes to alcoholism. That might be, I do that. It's been a while since I've done the dysfunctional family. Maybe we'll take a look at it today. Everybody has a place in the dysfunctional family. It isn't the dysfunctional person, it's the dysfunctional family. So we all kind of need help. We all do, right? For me, the exact nature of my wrongs is unspoken. Ooh, ah, very good point. What about all the things that I said in my head that maybe didn't come out, but I thought them? You know, my biological father is a good example of that, and it's just popping up, Kathy, because I saw you, and so my brain's moving that way, right? Now he died with 54 years of sobriety. Good guy, I'm presuming. I never really got to meet him. All right. Now, when it came to my ninth step, he was on my ninth step for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to find my father. There was a selfish reason. I'll admit it. But then I found my sister Kathy. So, okay. But yeah, why was he on my ninth step? Because I talked a lot of shit about him. I did. That man owes my mom money. I bet he's drunk or in jail. I made a lot of wrong assumptions about him. I did. You know, the day that, because this is the story that I got, that he was in jail for stealing guns. My mom went to him, said, I'm pregnant. And I got two different sides to this story, but I'm not going to tell a story because it's not for me to throw people under the bus. Anybody. Nope. But what really happened was this. He got out of jail and got sober. He got kicked out of the state, moved to Idaho, and started working with vets. That's about the extent that I know. Okay? Did I ever get my ninth step? Did I ever? No, but at least when he passed, I didn't have any more regrets, and that's what mattered, right? So even these unspoken assumptions that we have about other people need to be addressed, right? Self-defeating assumptions that give rise to my thoughts and actions. These include notions that my best is not good enough, that I am not worthy of love, and that I have been hurt too deeply to ever really heal, right? Now, we're talking if you have somebody in your life. I know my wife put up with a lot of freaking shenanigans, right? She was my girlfriend when I got sober the first time. And she used to tell me, Dion, I know the sober Dion. I know what the sober Dion does. So I'm gonna love you until that person comes back, because I have faith in you that you're going to be that person again. And she wasn't wrong. I thought she was at the moment. Okay. But even then, towards the end, she was getting ready to leave. She was getting ready to pack her shit and get out. And I do not blame her. It is the reason that I decided to stop drinking, to stop it. Right? Why? Because these people see something in us that we can't see yet. They see the person. They didn't fall in love with the drunk. They fell in love with the good part of you. And there is a good part to you. There is. Alcoholics are beautiful, confusing people. Heartbreaking. Our lives tend to be heartbreaking. But when we take that and turn it around, it can be gold. See, I confronted all my stuff. So I don't mind coming here and absolutely, Kathy, thanks for stopping by, and I love you. I'm gonna send you a text here when I get done. And she works in the field. So she can go help someone. Hey. And my whole family's like that. We're a bunch of healers, man. Oh, well, heal my people, right? So these people see something in us, and there's a lot of good in you. It can be heartbreaking though, because um, they're like even my friends. Like I see you guys out there helping other people, and you sit there and say, Dion, you don't know how much good you're doing. Well, the same applies to you. You have no idea how much good you're doing either. So what does that do? It means we're both on the same level. It means we're doing the same thing. And when we can get a group of people together with the same intentions, we can move fucking mountains, man. We can save somebody's life. You'll be looking at people and you'll be like, hey, Did I get that person sober? Did I do? No, I didn't do that, but I was there. I was available, and I was a guide. And now that person is up there at a speaker meeting, and their children are sitting in the audience crying. I'm about to cry. All right, you have that effect. I have that effect. Or we can go the opposite. We can run around and try and tear things down. That was the difference between yesterday when I put the post up about something in particular, and it was too emotionally driven. It needed to be more factual. All right. Angel says, my dad told me that I was breaking his heart when I was sick. Yeah, that's what it is. An alcoholic, I found this out when an alcoholic realizes how much they are hurting everyone around them, they want to change. They don't always change, but they want to. And gosh, isn't that a great start? Right? That's why we have to remember that you can get sober for any reason that you want to. You've got to do the work for yourself. It's the only way it can be done, because otherwise you're writing a fourth or fifth step about somebody else, and that's not going to work, is it? Yeah. So recovery and the steps you have to do for yourself. If you need to be sober for a year or two before you can work the program because you just can't do it for yourself yet, that's okay too. That's okay too. I'm not going to tell anybody you got to go through it fast or you got to go through it slow. It's not my decision. Both ways work, So what is right for the person? And that's where we match, Maybe I have somebody, hey, Dion, this is just going a little too slow for me. This is going a little too slow. Because I do. I'm a slow and steady, go through the book kind of person. All right. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send them to my friend Amber. Not necessarily to be their sponsor, but in her sponsorship family, that's kind of how they do it. And there's going to be somebody in there that would fit that person, because that's what matters, right? Isn't that what matters? Doesn't matter to how I did it. It's their recovery. And if I'm going too slow for them, then maybe I'm not the right fit. And that's okay. I'm not going to take that personally. In fact, I'm going to be happy that the person said, hey, you know what, Dion, I love you, but man, you're slow as molasses with this shit. All right, then let's do what's good for you. All right. If I dig deeply enough, I usually find thoughts such as these beneath the things I feel the worst about. I'm learning to examine whether or not there's any truth to these assumptions. Then I began to build a life around a more realistic, more loving way of seeing things. Yeah, that's part of the problem. When I'm drinking, I convolute everything in my life, good, bad, or indifferent, does not matter. I make mountains out of molehills so that nobody can solve the problem. Why? Because I didn't want the problem solved. If the problem was solved, I wouldn't have a reason to drink, and we can't have that. All right. So today's reminder: living with alcoholism has taken a huge toll on my self-esteem. I believe it. As a result, I may not recognize how many of my wrongs are built upon faulty sense of self. That's why the fifth step is so enlightening, so cleansing. Together with my higher power and another person, I can even change lifelong patterns. All right. Leisure says everyone's path is different. I sat and listened to a meeting for 2 years before I got a sponsor. Sometimes that's what it takes. It's all right. Right? Yeah. And it worked. And how much time you got now, Leisure? You're yeah, and yeah, you saw how well I'm doing at numbers. 18 years, what you're at? I think I'm thinking of a different Scott. Yes, I'm thinking of a different Scott. So, but you've got a little bit of time under your belt. See? It worked. This next thing is a reading from Alateen, Hope for Children of Alcoholics. So let's hear what the children have to say. It's the children, man. It's the heartbreaking part. The children losing, you know, saving somebody's father for a 7-year-old is it's an experience you must not miss. All right. So Alateen says, if no one knows us as we really are, we run the risk of making ourselves victims of our own self-hatred. Oh, and how true for an alcoholic, huh? If we can be loved by somebody who sees us as we are, we will then be able to accept ourselves. Others rarely think we're as bad as we think we are. Huh. Alateen, Hope for Children of Alcoholics. Alateen is a great program. If it wasn't for Alateen, I would be dead. I can tell you that right now. I would be dead. I went to Alateen when I was 13, 14. I went for the pretty girls, but I did listen enough to understand that I may have been an alcoholic myself, because alcoholism is a family disease. And they taught me that, Dion, you might have an addictive personality, so you got to be really careful with what you touch. And so I stayed away from hard drugs. And that saved my life, because if I would have gotten caught up in that, Dion would have become insatiable, right? So the thing is people are watching, not to judge, but to see what recovery looks like. So before, you were the person, if you go out and you judge other people, then people are going to judge you. How it works, right? I was just watching this video, and what this guy does is he brings out his camera when he delivers DoorDash when people give a tip of 0. He goes out of their way to find the lies. He's attracting that. His tips are going to be 0 all the time because he is attracting that. He is literally asking for it. Because in his brain, he's like, okay, well, the one that comes up today that gives me no tip, that's the one I'm going to zero in on. 15 years. See? It worked. I was just 3 years off. Those 3 years are a big deal, too. Even on your worst day, you might be someone else's proof that this thing works. In fact, on your worst days, that is the best time. That is the best time to be a good example. On your worst days. I've had kind of a hard week. I'm sure that I made a wrong move somewhere. I've been very meticulous on how I've been talking about it and stuff, because I want to drive people off with drama, man. I don't, if you don't like me or have what I say, maybe I'm too much, that's okay. Find something else. But when we create division, I got a problem with that. I got a problem with it, right? So I have to be a good, and let's go back to that post again. The first one was personal, and people felt it too. A couple people commented, the braver people. Hey, there's a fear there. When you go against these things, people push back because they have a fear that you're going to take what they have. And what happens when you corner an animal into a corner? When you back an animal into a corner, what happens? Well, they get frothy at the mouth. They get very mean. They will attack. And there's a fear there. So, and I understand that fear, right? That's why we do it together. We do it together. So we don't need to be perfect. We don't need to be perfect, okay? And we don't need to do that. We just need to live an honest life. When I see somebody publicly say, hey, you know what? I made a mistake. I see it. I actually have more respect for them. Right? Sometimes I'll confront somebody. I confronted somebody on Crotch Talk this week. They took it so unwell, they made a bunch of shit up. Yep. There's a fear there. There's a fear. All right. Then it's good I didn't keep poking the bear. Okay. All right. Let's see. See, because, well, what is it? What's the thought process there? Did they do it? Sure. But, if they're already going through fear, it's not for me to make it worse either, is it? That's not cool. I don't get to do that. Just because somebody did something to me doesn't allow me for vengeance. And there's part of me that wants it. There's still a part of me that's a very dangerous person, where if you push too far, I'll push you off the fucking cliff and I'll jump with you. I just, yeah. And I don't want that person around. No. So sometimes it's just a quiet consistency that makes the loudest impact. Right? I do a lot of things in the community. I don't talk about a lot of them. I talk about some of them so you know I'm doing stuff. But even yesterday, I did several things to help out my community. And what is that? That's just me showing this is what Dion does. And it's taken about 4 or 5 years, but now people are starting to catch on. They're saying, "Oh, okay, I don't know how many times this year I've heard, Dion, you were right." And the one thing I did not say was, "I told you so." No, it's like, "Oh yeah, what happened?" Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe that's what I said. No, absolutely. Angel says nothing wrong with being honest, though. No, you're correct. You're correct. So, what we're really talking about here is the ripple effect, and what kind of effect do you want? If I approach all this stuff with anger, you know what I'm going to get? Anger. All right. Here's another really, really good example. This morning, I got an email from the General Service Office, and they're asking for money again. I mean, flat out asking for money. I'm gonna show this to you. Now, I'm not putting down the General Service Office. That's not what I'm doing. Absolutely not. No. This will be a really good example. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. Now, it says, we need your help. Central office is entirely dependent on contributions from the fellowship. Okay. Awesome. Okay. It doesn't seek grants, entities. No, we are self-supporting. They're absolutely correct. And I went to my group and said, hey, they need money. They really do. So we're talking about sending them money today. We're taking votes, things like that. Absolutely, we can help with this. All right. It's this. The office makes 12th step work possible. Right there. But that's what's wrong. That is what's wrong. So I wrote back and said, hey, I'm going to my group. We can certainly help with some money, help you guys out. But I'd really like to have a discussion on creating more 12th step work through detoxes. See, yes, there is a problem there. And the problem is we don't beg for money. We do things through action. If we have to run the general service, if we have to run that the central office, if we have to run it out of a garage, then we will do so. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety, not collect funds for our own paycheck. Okay. And, clearly something's going on. There's maybe what's going on is they're running into red tape. Maybe it's an outside issue. They're not allowed to do that. So when I wrote, I'm like, what can we do as groups to help you out with that? What can we do? All right. Because I've talked to the office manager several times. When I call, she knows who it is. Dion's not a quiet guy. I'm not. No, it's about solution. If I'm bringing up a problem, I want the darn solution. Don't you? Why do you think I brought up the problem? It's not a vendetta. It's not anger. It's change. It's advocacy. Okay. But when everybody out there is angry and looking for something to point the finger at so they can continue being angry, well, gosh, I'm an easy target at that point, aren't I? But 2 people just found out this week what happens when you think Dion's an easy target, because I'm not. And neither are you. You're not an easy target either. All right. We're not saviors. We're servants. With every act of kindness, every honest share, every amends sends, we send these waves outwards to other people. And that is the ripple effect. When you help one person, alcoholic, you have helped more like 30 people. We just don't know it. And you have a choice. You can either choose the bad way of doing it or a good way of doing it. And that is your choice. That is nobody else's choice. Angel says maybe people leave certain groups because they were bullied in that group and the group is missing the money of the people who left. I'm doing broad strokes here, and I'm sorry that that happened to you. You know, if they're, you know, I understand that some people have had different experiences in AA, but, you know, and Angel, I'm not saying that you're doing this because you don't. But just because there's a couple of bad apples doesn't mean that we throw AA under the bus. And I do see some people doing that. No. Okay. I've had different experiences in different places, but if I took one person, are you doing that stuff? No, you're not. And you're a member of AAC. We can't do all of that. And does it suck? Yes. Then don't go to those meetings, and you know, then they're assholes. But I understand it. Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying though, Angel. You're not putting down AA as that group. So people leave certain groups. That's why I was saying I don't see you doing that, but I do see a lot of people putting down AA because they had a bad experience, you know. All right. So that's why I started grassroots. Because I was leaving groups because people were being bullied and this and this and that. I'm like, no, that's not what AA is. So what I do, I went and started a group and made a better example of how things should go. And it's doing its job, right? And everybody's welcome, even the people that talk shit this week. I blocked them from my personal stuff. I can't block them from AA. I don't have that power. All right, we're just carrying the light because someone carried it to us. Your recovery might be the only big book someone ever reads. Make it a good one. You might be the only recovery somebody ever sees. So we got to continue being a good example, right? Leisure said it's like the old double mint gum commercial. You can double your freshness at grassroots. So, and yeah, crappy attitudes in meetings, Angel. That certainly doesn't help. Absolutely. So we can either have a good effect on people or a bad effect. All right. Leisure says they tell two friends and then they tell two, and so on and so on. Yeah. And I tell you right now, when that is kind of the ripple thing. Okay. Now the thing is let's say you're a business, right? Nobody's going to call you and say, "Hey, I had a great experience." That's why we ask for ratings now. You know, Amazon will send me a package. How was your experience? What do you mean? I walked to my porch and picked it up. What experience did nothing happened. What do you need it for? No news is good news. That's what it used to mean. Now, if you piss somebody off, oh, they're more likely to do that. But you do the right thing, it is going to affect them some, but they're not going to tell two friends who tell two friends who tell two friends. That's not going to happen. But when it's negative, oh man, that shit will spread like wildfire, won't it? When there's drama involved and it's not you. See? And so we stay away from that. But yes, it does work that way. Where if I'm a good example, now they may not say anything to anybody, but they're watching. They're watching, right? So, yeah, we got to stop with this whole society being measured by stars. Stars. It's a Resident Evil thing. Speaking of which, the new Resident Evil is coming out next year. Ooh, love me some Resident Evil. Oh, yeah. I'm the OG of killing, the undead. I've been killing undead since 1979 in Dungeons and Dragons. Headshots. It's always headshots. Remove the head. It's the only thing that works, right? Yeah. Acid will do it too. Fire, ice, lightning. Because I'm sure you have all those things accessible, right? All right. So, challenge today. We're going to do a challenge. Make the world a better place. Do something to make your neighborhood, your world, a better place. And I will too. All right. So let's keep that good ripple effect going on. Okay. Clearly something's happening because people are showing up to this that I just was not expecting. See, God will put gifts in your life if you do the right thing. He will continue doing it. And what's going on? Just more people coming into my life that need to be in my life that I knew they were supposed to be. All right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. And keep on trudging.